timestamp for the AK-50 discussion, if that's the only reason you're here, is at the 22-minute mark. If you want to hear just that, go ahead and skip forward. I got bit by a spider earlier.
Was it radioactive?
It's approximately like 2 inches above the dick of my root.
Like he's gonna get superpowers called fucking gangrene.
Oh fuck! And this is how we're gonna start it. Welcome to the first episode of the Cloning Correct Classroom. We figured we'd start this one off right with AK-47s, first truly successful assault weapon. With us tonight are the boys from the AK guy. So Brandon, Herrera, all the guys from the shop. There's fucking 15 of us in this recording little room right now. So we're going to just go down the list. Go ahead and introduce yourself, a little bit of background, and then we'll jump right into it. I don't know who wants to start first. Everyone's muted.
Who do you want to go first?
You just go down the list, go from the bottom to the top, I reckon.
So should we start with the employees that I like the most to the least?
Yes.
That's the way we should do it?
Yeah, can you rank your employees right now? From least favorite?
Yeah, I can. We could do like an S tier to like C tier, F tier. Yeah, we could
definitely
do that.
at the bottom.
I wasn't going to say it. But no, you got Winston, so that kind of brings it back around. His dog kind of helps a lot.
Fucked.
My name is Brandon. I run a YouTube channel that is kind of Z tier, but still somehow people watch it. And basically, I run a shop that does kind of custom AK work called the AK Guy, and I hire these ass clowns.
Thank you. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure. All right. Now one of you chuckle fucks go.
Yeah, go someone, please. I'll start telling more dick jokes.
I'll go next. My name's Eric. I'm a 24-year-old engineering major. About to graduate. I was one of the Brass Valley guys in 2019. Do a lot of CAD work, a lot of design work and stuff like that with Big Brand Dog.
What'd you call him? Right there?
Brand Dog. It's a combination of Brandon and dog. It just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Because he's from Jersey.
You gotta forgive him. He's from fucking Jersey. So
no, Brand Dog is now a thing.
Brand Dog is 100% a thing, and then there's also
Stop
our
trying
dog,
to make
which
Brand
is,
Dog happening. It's not gonna happen.
No, Brand Dog's happening.
Make Brand Dog great again.
There's like 5 meme pages in here right now. Brand Dog will be a thing tomorrow morning. I can promise
Fuck
this.
me. I knew this was a mistake.
And then there's also our dog, which is Ryan. Ryan's name is our dog.
That's me. I'm Ryan. I'm our dog, I guess. There are a lot of fucking Jerseyite sayings that you're going to have to withstand for this podcast. God bless Eric. That's all I have to say.
I'll keep the dog to a minimum.
Oh, this is great. we usually have a guy from New York here. And we just fully immersed. Someone get him in here now. But yeah, the fight would be fantastic. I did a little research for this episode. Right, so I watched the Amazon special or whatever. My question is, why did the AK get such a shit reputation? Like, where did this come from? Because when it was first designed, it was made by tool and die guys, like on their after. Like, it was a really well-made rifle, the first one. Off. Where did it go to shit? Or where did the reputation go to shit?
I think the reputation went to shit because it was kind of the bad guy gun. First of all, it was the symbol of communists in the Cold War, and it was a lot of propaganda. And then it was Vietnam, where, a lot of guys had a really bad experience with it, and they obviously didn't think back to the AK super fondly. And then a new generation of that came out with the global war on terror, which is going swimmingly, by the way. It's about as well as the war on drugs is doing. But yeah, just you got generation after generation where it was like the bad guy gun, and it was dirty, and you didn't want to be associated with it. And a lot of FUD lore kind of popped up where like the AR-15 is unreliable but accurate, and the AK is super reliable but inaccurate. It's like, both of those things are true, like to a micro degree. But honestly, nowadays it really doesn't fucking matter. The rifle can shoot better than any of you fucks.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, and I think it's changed stuff. You see these new ones that are coming out of Russia and these advancements of it. The Israelis with the. I'm not going to jump into that yet on what is and isn't an AK, but I think that it's advanced to a point where it's minute. What defines an AK? What makes an AK an AK? I want all of you to answer this, because then I'm going to throw shit at all of you and see if you think it's an AK or not, and I'm going to try and hurt your head.
I think we're all going to have a pretty similar definition. Like, obviously, like, there's the look of the AK, but an AK to its core, like, long stroke, gas piston operated, rotating bolt, you know, the AK bolt face design, the two lug design, you know, hammer fired, like, just all the features about the AK. It's kind of like, it's, what is that? It's like pornography. It's like, I don't know how to define it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah. So, do you consider the Galil an AK?
I do, yes.
The 100% Galil's an AK.
Milled AK, best AK.
Oh fuck, we could start that. So milled versus forged. Just so people don't. Okay.
Or milled versus forged, or milled versus stamped.
Ooh.
Or forged versus milled versus cast.
Yeah, so we break this down real quick. From where I come from with AR receivers, the argument is forged receivers are, so for people that don't know, metal has grains in it. And these metals and these like people say it's like wood. So when you do a forging, the grain of the metal moves with the forging into the shape of the part that you're making. That means technically the grain of the metal is going to be aligned more with the shape of the part, making the part stronger. Now, from a machinist side of it, it's a lot easier to take a piece of billet material, a square block, and machine it accurately into a finished part. A forged part, which is going to be a little bit harder to set up and get right, is technically going to be stronger because of the grain of the metal following the shape of the part. It doesn't fucking matter really in ARs because it's aluminum. But
I was just going to say, like, aluminum, I figure, wouldn't be as big of a deal as something that's, like, load-bearing, like steel. Because, like, the AR-15 lowers and uppers aren't really as, like, pressure parts, high-pressure parts like the AK's receivers are.
Yeah, you come to an AK, like I was about to say, you come to an AK and all of a sudden it's steel and it is taking pressure, it is taking a load. Like, what are y'all's thoughts on what makes a better receiver for an AK, like forged cast?
Well, we all love something that can take a good load. That's for sure.
If you can't take big loads, it's not going to last forever.
I said it can take a load, and instantly the oh fuck alarm went off in my head. I'm like, that's not okay.
Anybody else feel like taking it? I feel like
I'm a big fan of milled receiver. Oh, by the way, I'm Josh. I'm one of the other retards that works with these guys. I'm from the Midwest, and I do machining and CAD and stuff like that.
I'm hearing corn-fed white boy.
Yeah,
basically.
Precisely.
He's literally from West Ohio, Cornland.
What is West Ohio?
Indiana.
It's a place called Indiana.
Thank you.
So much better
place
than
you never
Ohio.
want to find yourself.
You guys
a place where they
there for the summer.
They closed the goddamn bars at like 7 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, which is horse shit.
No shit. I was driving home and I passed a fucking Pizza Hut with a sign outside of it that literally just said, "Please help." Nothing fucking else. Literally just said, "Please help."
That shit was pretty funny. But
those are true stories that we've had to deal with in Indiana.
But we also do have Winston.
What was the
Winston
question?
Is
yes. No, good. No, this is fine. This is great.
I'm a big fan of milled receivers. They're probably my favorite versus milled receiver versus stamped receiver. I'm a big fan of milled guns. And those were from forgings as well. I think actually we might have one of the original Type 3 forgings that's been unfinished. which is
I don't,
really
I don't
cool.
think it's an original, Zach. Or sorry, not Zach, Josh. I don't think it was an original. I think it was one of the DDI forgings.
Ah,
Can
gotcha.
someone send me a picture of that? I want to try and picture how they set that up.
Yeah, you can find them on Google if you look up 80% forged AK receiver. I think you can find them. Centerfire had them for a while. I think Centerfire is kind of like the Island of Misfit Toys of AK shit. They've got a lot of AK shit for cheap, and none of it is worth owning.
Yeah, it's like Island of Misfit Toys, but the bad ending where everything is just garbage.
Where they all get thrown into the oven.
Kind of like another AK company, but we can't talk.
I mean, I don't care about talking. We can talk about it all you want.
So I had a friend that worked out at a company that did parts for Sentry, and apparently, now this wasn't AKs; it was another rifle Sentry makes. Apparently, Sentry just said, "If it works, we're okay with it." As in, we
Works
don't
for
really
how long?
No, if it works, we're okay with it. Was the exact words, and it's like, if you're a machinist, you're hearing, "I can fuck this up a lot, and it'll be fine." And
Knurled press
what's your
fit barrels.
tolerance?
Yeah, what's your tolerance?
What's your tolerance? Does it fit?
Yes.
We don't have a
Does it
tolerance
work?
because we just knurled the barrel journal.
Dude, seriously, we pulled a barrel on one of these Sentry builds, and both the trunnion and the barrel were knurled to fit, and you could still, I'm not fucking shitting you, grab the barrel assembly with your hand and wobble it up and down on the barrel pin.
Fuck.
That's gross. That's pretty good.
So is that common? Knurling for a press fit?
No!
No, God, no. No.
If you
You're supposed to
knurled
be
one,
pushing-
Had this.
if you knurled
On
one or the other, I'd
AKs,
be
no.
like,
You
yeah,
can
if you
pull it
knurled
off
one or
for
the
some
other, I'd be
parts.
like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You knurled both and it's still wobbly. I'm
trying
gonna.
to.
Yeah, you really fucked
It's
up
like-
somewhere there.
I say you can, but I mean that very loosely. Like, I guess technically you can do that.
It's
but,
not
like you
uncommon.
can do it for like front sight blocks.
Yeah.
Is probably where you'll see it most commonly on AK builds.
I know that on
but for, like,
M14s.
Gas blocks or the fucking barrel journal, like hell no, dog.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna
no,
mess things up.
for
on
sure.
like
'Cause
M14s and stuff, they'll like knurl the op rod guide and stuff like that for pressing on that.
M14 cringe.
So yeah, like on other guns and stuff like that sometimes, but on AKs that's fucking egregious. Like
one of
nobody
the
does
things that makes the AK different too in the way that it headspaces is that the barrel, how far the barrel is pressed into the front trunnion is what makes your headspace. So it's not predetermined by a barrel with a barrel extension. So that's a real fucking crucial part to like not fucking knurl and make sure you got right, because that's the part that stops you from exploding.
Anyone that doesn't know what knurling is, real quick, go to a barbell or something like that at the gym. The little diamond shapes in it, that's knurling. For any retards that are listening. So I'm just trying to picture that in press fitting. So press fitting is usually like under a thou of clearance in between the two of the parts. At least where
The
Around
AK
that.
barrel press fit is like, isn't it?
I think
It's around 1.5. Two is chunky. Like 2 is like you might be able to make it work, but I would not recommend it.
I think the
1
lightest is like
pretty
7/10.
Yeah, the lightest you can possibly get away with is like 7/10. Otherwise, it will just jump back out when you're done pressing, and then you lost your headspace, and it's annoying.
people that aren't used to shop talk, 7/10 is 7/10,000ths of an inch. Give people a size,
0.0007.
give people a gentle idea.
Muy small.
Human hair about 3 to 4.5 thou.
So you have
really-
a thou tolerance essentially on in between these two press fit surfaces, and which I mean that's not a large tolerance range, but still, holy hell, they
It
knurled
is.
both sides.
It is such a tight tolerance that before, at a certain build course, we had to throw our barrels in a freezer to get them to shrink the amount that we needed to press them in.
I love this. So I was going to ask this because everything's like kind of brought together. You see an AR, everything's kind of, there's gaps. There's air around everything. Yes, everything's touching, but there's also larger gaps. Do you think the press fit and how tight everything is and how everything's connected in an AK, how it isn't free floated, do you think that affects the heat and the accuracy as you get to a higher round count compared to an AR-15, which Or am I just retarded?
Maybe I don't know. I think one thing is you're not free floated. I think that's the most important difference between the AR and the AK. As long as we're talking about like modern ARs, because normal M16s with front sight posts aren't free floated.
But shit, complete horrible design. Usually Stoner fucked it.
So there's also like you can get kind of free floated on an AK too. Like the new Sure Shot rails where like you don't have a lower handguard retainer, you don't have like all this shit on the front. Like the gas tube is more or less floated so that like, you know, you're not having a bunch of shit tethered straight to the barrel. Like that's about as close as you'll get on an AK, and frankly, you can get better accuracy out of that with a good caliber, a good barrel, and good ammo than I am a shooter. So,
yeah, I think people take the accuracy of an AK and they make it a lot bigger deal than it needs to be. So we look at these cartridges, the three most common that you see in an AK. The last one I might get yelled at for. You have 7.62-39, you have 5.45, and then you do have modern ones in 5.56. Effective range of these intermediate cartridges, if you really want to push it, is like 600.
Yeah.
What's the common accuracy for an AK? Like
I mean, I've seen them get under 1 MOA, but realistically, if you're just shooting like Tula, which is what you should be shooting, you know, shit like that, you're at like, I mean, you're at like maybe 2-3 MOA, which it's like, oh, cringe, 3 MOA. It's like, bitch, I've seen you punch paper at 25 yards. You're not getting the most out of 1 MOA. Fuck you.
Yeah, so we break that out, and it's like 2 to 3 MOA is, fuck it, 600 yards, that's 12 to 18 inches. That's hit someone's center mass.
Interesting. Yeah, that's about the size of his human shoulders.
It's like, wow, that person's a dead motherfucker still. Does this accuracy really matter that much?
And at that range, intermediate cartridges start really falling off, so does it really matter?
Yeah. And at that range, you're really talking about
really pushing it.
At that range, you're really talking about from a fucking bench, which is not a combat weapon, you know?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can hit
remember,
a target at 600 yards with an iron sight AK, send me a DM, please. I want to see this shit.
I have done that. It's on my Insta. Not 600. I did 11 for 11 rounds. No, it was 11 for 11 at the end of a day off of a bench at 500.
That's fucking impressive.
You give me a couple hundred tries. I feel like I can get that.
Well, no. The point is, at the end of the day, all warmed up and everything, like the rifle can do it. It was a question of whether I could do it because I'm kind of a terrible shooter. So by the end of the day, I figured out like my actual holds and everything because iron sights. It's very hard to get that perfectly zeroed at the 500. The rifle can repeatedly hit that. It's like most AKs, if they're well built and the lugs have a semblance of good contact, can be 2 MOA rifles.
Right, and so weren't you running a SERP trigger?
No, I was running a Texas.
Okay.
Texas trigger. Trigger is basically dog shit, but it's what I'm used to.
So the I've noticed like the ALGs too. Like the ALG is like lightening up the trigger quite a bit. It helps a lot if you're going for like long range accuracy kind of shit. Because most AK triggers are pretty dog shit, and the ones that claim to be really good, like the $300 triggers, in my eyes, are not fucking worth it, and they don't do half of what they claim to do.
Tapco G2 Master Race, I hoard that shit.
Tapco G2's polished up are not bad, man.
They're really good.
I was about to ask you, talking about polishing. So what is it that you have to do to ALGs? I heard they beat the shit out of something in an AK.
It depends if you have like a massive... So on the trigger guard is held on traditionally by 5 rivets. You have 4 in the front, which also hold in your mag catch, right? And then you have 1 in the rear that's hidden by the pistol grip. Now that is mushed against the inside of the stamped receiver, right where the disconnector sits. So the disconnector, when it's being pushed down on, the tail of the disconnector is smacking that rivet if you've got a big fucking rivet. So a lot of the Arsenal guns that have like just a chode fucking rear trigger guard rivet, they're having problems with breakage because the ALG wasn't designed for that sort of clearance. So as long as you don't have a thick ass fucking rear trigger guard rivet, you shouldn't have an issue. Yeah. I know some people have, like the ALGs have had kind of like a wonky I guess testing phase as far as like their Gen 1s and shit like that, but I've really enjoyed mine. I've probably got, in my 74, I've got like probably 10,000 rounds on it.
Alrighty. One last quick question. At Type 1, I watched the video, but I'm going to be honest. I was pissed drunk. Is that Larry Vickers Type 1? Or can you not say?
Oh, no, I can say. That was out of his collection, but it was bought. It was not bought from him. It was bought by a buddy of mine who like liquidates a lot of different stuff like that. And yeah, it was not one of the spooky guns. It was a semi-auto build by Two Rivers. So yeah, but it's a very fucking nice. I was drooling over it when I first got it.
The Type 1, I described the Type 1 as like your great-great-grandfather. You might have heard like stories about him, and you're familiar with its offspring, but you're not actually intimately familiar with your great-great-grandfather. So
I do not drool on my great-great-grandfather, for the record.
That needed to be said because fuck, the rumors jump like crazy on the internet.
That is where the analogy it becomes imperfect.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
So, I mean, that's like, we can talk about. So the Type 1 AKs, I think, are super interesting because this is the time in Russia where the propaganda from America was they're Russians, it's communism, therefore everything they make is shit, which couldn't be farther from the truth. Most people don't know it. Back in the day, the CIA was stealing technical data from the Russians on how to make jets and work with titanium and other super alloys because the Russians were doing it 10 times better than us. The SR-71 originally was going to never leave the ground, and the U-2 wasn't because we couldn't fucking touch titanium, but the Russians were doing it great. So the Type 1 AK and like the early Russian AKs interest me because of that, because the Russians, when they wanted to, they could make some really, really fucking good shit.
Yeah, it was very clear. The Russians were like the kings of min-maxing. So you could really tell what they gave a fuck about and what they did not give a fuck about.
Where do you think the AK was in that? Like, was this up with the fucking MiGs where it was perfect?
So
it was like,
for as little competition as you have in communism, this is actually birthed from competition. So this is like, of all the gun designers in Russia at the time, people are like, oh, well, fucking Schmeiser was just like, Schmeiser designed the AK because Russia needed a new battle rifle. It's like, no, you fucking retard. Like, that's not how this happened. Because this was like 12 different gun designers coming together and each submitting their own design and then pitting them against each other. It's like, if anything, Schmeiser would have been given to one of the known names like Degtyarev or something at the time. But it's like, no, this was an independent design that was brought forth in a military competition. And it was basically 12 decent designs for a new infantry rifle. The best one won, and then they refined it from there to make it as good as they could be. So if you're talking about like the Type 1 and the Type 2, I would say very good. They gave many fucks about that because they were thinking at any point the Americans were going to come through fucking East Germany and start kicking ass. So they're like, we need to pump out as many fucking infantry rifles as possible and the best ones we can.
Yeah. Because this was Russia right after they had the fucking Krauts knocking on Berlin or on Moscow's door or whatever. This was post World War II Russia, where they had some very vivid memories of almost getting their shit kicked in.
Well, they came very close. If it wasn't for those Russian winters, they would be speaking German.
Yeah. What do you think a German AK would look like?
We already know. We see East Germans.
Yeah, the MPI.
Oh, fuck, this is right.
Those are cool.
They are pretty neat.
Especially like they actually went with almost like a Draco copy looking thing that was done better and was really cool. Those things go for a lot of money.
Plus, I'd also say like the SIG 556 is pretty much like peak Germanic fucking engineering on an AK.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could totally see that.
There's so much
rails,
so much extra shit, like so much. It's just like really, did you have to do that?
521 before 521.
Fucking weather stripping on the charging handle slot is that really necessary, or is that just you being fucking German again?
They really do like the small things on there, like all that shit.
Hello, it is I to a ship.
We can start the fight. All right, where's the New Jersey guy? We brought our New York guy in. You
Shit, what's up?
Yeah, I'm Gabby.
Gabagool.
What's up? I am Gabagool. What's up?
Gabagool cannolis. My pizza is better than yours.
It probably is.
As much as I hate to miss this shit, I have to bounce, guys. I've been sitting in a parking lot like a fucking tool for like 20 minutes now.
Yeah, well,
They think you just shot up that good shit.
I don't know.
You mean it? Hi, Brandon.
I was gonna go chain smoke. So, but like, if you want me on for a few minutes, I'll chill for a little bit.
This is such a fucking professional podcast.
It is so good.
They had us on it. Can't be that professional.
That's what I was thinking.
Hold on.
Hey, we're pros.
We agree,
Technically.
Okay, so like, didn't we agree we wouldn't be wasted? Because I'm fucking wasted right now. I'm fucked up. You know?
You sound more defeated than wasted.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking wasted. I had like
3 Bud Lights.
Yeah, fuck you. It was actually like 8 Rolling Rocks. So
it was 4.
You. So fuck you. 8 Rolling Rocks. So fuck you.
I forgot he's a Rolling Rock guy.
Yeah, I am.
That's like 3 PBRs.
Yeah.
Proud of
You gotta go beat your wife after she's walking with a lot of clothes.
Thank you.
I gotta bounce, guys. It was a pleasure talking with you. Stay sexy.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Good to see you,
Hi,
Brandon.
Brandon.
Later, Brandon.
I didn't even get a chance to say nothing to him. Fuck.
We tried to get you in.
Other than you were drinking Rolling Rocks.
That's the one thing this man knows about you is you're a Rolling Rock aficionado. What a stain.
Better to have not shown up at all.
He's gonna go select memes for the next gun meme review and see this 2A shit posting guy's like, oh, the faggot that likes fucking Rolling Rocks. Ethan, you're gonna have to bleep that. I'm so sorry.
Let me explain something. If Rolling Rock makes me gay, I mean, yes, Queen, I fucking love this beer. It's a good beer. Go fuck yourself. I like it. Yes, I mean, it's a good beer. Fuck you.
It's a good water alternative. What are you talking about, son?
I was saying,
I can't say shit because I like Busch Light, but Busch Light is like sex on a boat. It's fucking near water.
That's the nectar of the gods. Watch your tone. That ain't water. That's wholesome.
556 is like a huge bush.
When you go to the liquor store and you say, "Look, I need a 24-pack."
When I go to the liquor store, I'm buying liquor because I'm a grown ass man.
Can we talk about that 30 rack?
Let me finish my question. When you go to the liquor store and you say, "Look, I need to buy like a decent beer that will get me fucked up that I won't puke up in like 8. What do you buy?
PBR.
Jack Daniels.
PBR, Jack Daniels. That's not a real answer, but okay. So PBR.
Shit posting. Do you still drink Four Locos?
I never drank I'm not.
He's too fucking young to remember the good ones.
Listen,
dude, fucking
I have Four Loco Gold this weekend or last weekend. It was a good time.
I have shotgunned Four Loco. I do not recommend shotgunning Four Locos.
Hey, I shotgunned 3 in a row for $25.
Holy shit, dude! That was a hard-earned $25.
I tried to shotgun a Miller Lite once in my life. Yeah, I regretted it. Fucking fully.
Drinking water.
Brendan's been gone for fucking
You might as well
2
just gotten
minutes.
pissed on.
I know.
We're all fucking.
No, this is good. This is what they expect. Okay, the adult supervision is gone. We can start to
It's
be
completely
fucking
gone.
idiots.
So now we're just going fucking nuts.
So, you want to make an original Four Loco? You can make it this way, or this is a more fun than Four
buy
Loco.
cocaine of like a 5-hour.
Shut the fuck up! I'm talking. Shut the fuck up! I'm talking. I'll beat your ass with a fucking French loaf of bread.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, as I was saying,
I'm talking here.
Can I like smoke a cigarette though?
Hey.
Yeah. Go smoke a cigarette.
No, I'm gonna stay on, but I'm just gonna be outside.
Someone got to go buy those cigarettes for you.
No.
Holy shit!
Fuck you and your
So to make
Enjoy that 20% tax.
to make a fun Four Loco, you go to a gas station or go to a truck stop and you get this stuff called Red Line. It's a super strong energy drink. You take one of those and you go 50-50 that and Everclear. And then to make it fun, you take a banned substance. It's called DMAA. It was banned in 2013. It used to be in pre-workouts. It's an amphetamine derivative. Take that, add that to it, mix it up, and it's like Four Locos, but for adults.
Okay, so you fucking lost me at Everclear?
Well, you're a pussy.
You know what? I want to live past 35. Sorry, I'm a pussy. You're right.
Why?
You're right. I'm a
Your
bitch.
dick stopped working.
Go drink E85 like a fucking man. Get it over with.
Fucking pour vodka into a fucking White Claw, and that's how you get real close to fucking God.
I don't
Do you guys actually like vodka? Could I pay you guys for an AK and whatever USD amount of Stoli that would be? However much the AK find the USD amount of fucking Stoli or Tito's if you're a white bitch.
I actually have a bottle of Tito's.
Yeah, that's a brand dog question.
I am a white bitch.
My preferred type of vodka, it's this Polish thing. It has like a strand of bison grass in it. Fucking
oh my god,
dude! Ziga, no. Ziga from fucking Polinar showed me this shit at Shot, and we were taking shots out of it on the fucking floor at Shot. It's called Zabroska or some shit like that. It is fucking amazing. Yeah, that's it. It's fucking amazing. It is
Buffalo Piss vodka.
So you actually enjoy vodka shots because you're like a different breed then. Because I can't.
Dude, it's fucking great. No. And you know it's good because fucking Ziga showed me it.
I'm going to smoke
alcoholism is all they have over there.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the Buffalo Piss vodka is it was actually mentioned in Chris Kyle's book.
Really?
Yeah, so like for a couple of years there, all the 3%er sheepdog would have been a team guy. Anyway, the fucking sheepdog 3%er would have been a team guy, dudes, for drinking this fucking Buffalo Piss grass vodka.
Dude, it's fucking great.
Is it good?
I'll tell you, it's pretty good, dude.
The Poles know how to make some fucking
They really
liquor?
do, yeah. It's like it literally has that fucking great. It kind of has like a minty taste almost to it. It's kind of weird.
Oh hell yeah! You can make like a classy white girl drink for a little bit.
Yeah, dude, like that and fucking like apple juice or some shit. It's like it's actually really fucking good.
You could just like take it, put a couple ice cubes in it, throw a mint leaf in it, and act like you're not drinking straight liquor.
No, that like drink like a third of a fucking White Claw, and then just fill up the rest with fucking vodka, and like that's like as close as you can get to like literally kissing God before you die.
Isn't that what Illustration Nathan drinks on the Seaburn art is White Claw and vodka or something?
Where the fuck are my cigarettes?
I love this, man.
Where the fuck are my cigarettes? All right, fuck it. I'll open up a new pack. Fuck it. Fuck it.
With AKs, what is it? So you guys have had an opportunity to touch like and build a lot of really, really cool shit. Is there an AK clone that you haven't built yet that is like at the top of your fucking list, where you're just waiting for the chance?
We got a lot of cool stuff that's in the works, honestly. Like both Ryan and I both have Grozas, along with Zach, who's the head builder, and Brandon also has one of those Grozas.
It's a reproduction Groza kit.
It's a reproduction Groza, yeah. I think that the guy made like 35 of them though in the United States. So it's still pretty fucking cool.
We own like a majority share.
Yeah, we literally hold. Yeah.
I would like to go on record as I do not share the opinions of these people, and bullpup AKs are gay.
It's not about being bullpup; it's about being a flex gun. All right,
it's literally just cool.
Cool guns are cool.
I got I'm into 74s, so I got an AK-12 in the pipeline. That should be
fuck yeah. Was that because of video games? Or because
I don't know. I've always been kind of into like modern military rifles. So I got the opportunity to buy one of those kits, and I just kind of jumped on it. Got the correct barrel. I got a Sega trunnion too to complete it.
Dope.
So that one's gonna be pretty cool.
Pretty dope.
Is it a cool AK-12 or an AK? What was it, Josh? That you and I were talking about the
Slogan. Yeah, the slogan.
No, it's not a slogan.
Yeah, it's not a slogan.
Okay, so we'll put an asterisk next to AK-12.
Yeah, it's the Cope AK-12 that they kind of like.
It's AK-12 at home.
Yeah, they showed off this nice ass like AK-12 prototype, and everybody's like, "Yeah, cool!" And it had like the mag kicker and the bolt hold opener and everything. They're like, "That's really cool, man!" But we like this instead, and like this was just like some fucking AK with a Picatinny rail on it. They used their own receivers and their bolts and everything. They didn't have to change anything, and they just can adopt that shit and change like fucking 10 parts, and they still get a new rifle.
I really think that the gas tubes on those are welded for accuracy to try and free float the barrel more.
Honestly, I was looking at it the other day. I think that you might be right. Just based on there's not much binding or anything like that or anything there on. I think
there's even an air gap.
Yeah, there is. It's kind of interesting.
I suppose it depends on how far you press the front side block in, but
yeah.
In all the pictures, they're basically sitting flush, and so there's not tension on it, but it's not free floating. It's making contact with the gas block.
Okay, but less pressure on it than is normally required to kind of hold the gas block in.
It's hold it
I think personally that people give the heat from firing a rifle and its effect on accuracy a little bit too much fucking power than it actually has. People,
yeah, I'm not
first
gay,
off, people
so
here.
I don't like AKs because I'm not fucking gay. I just kind of run
Oh my God!
Get him out of here!
As I was saying,
hell, man! I'm recording here.
I'm recording here.
Fuck all you.
So people give the free float thing and the heat a much bigger. Oh no, they think it does more than it actually does. If you look at basic shop for me is shop lore or knowledge is 1/1,000,000th of an inch for every degree of temperature. So you're not moving a whole lot when you
you're talking about 20 millionths of dimensional change. Of course, that's kind of negating the possibility of stresses caused by heat treatment starting to expand in those grain boundaries, causing warpage of the barrel, which I think that's where you get into the issue with pencil profile barrels, and they start to heat strain. But overall, heat, you can see the effect of heat, but it's a whole lot less, especially with AKs, because AKs have a relatively heavy profile barrel, I would say.
Yeah. And most AK barrels are heat treat before rifling and turning final profile, right? Or is it done after?
I think they're cold hammer forged.
Okay.
Yeah, most military barrels are cold hammer forged, chrome lined.
All right, cool.
So
I think.
Sorry, I'm just gonna say I'm a little out of my depth here, but I think it depends on the gun and the barrel thickness as well, because I know guns like the M16A1 and thin barreled ARs in general, and the SVD. Whenever the barrels get hot, they just do get more inaccurate. I just think it depends on the gun more than anything.
The SVD definitely had that problem because it was, for one, it was a relatively pencil profile, but it was 7.62 by 54R, which is a very old round. It was one of the first smokeless powder cartridges.
This is
very
designed,
old
and so it's very. It needs a lot of barrel to actually get up to the velocities it can get to. So that barrel was long as shit and not super heavy profile.
Well, you look at the Mosin Nagant barrel, how long that is.
My 9130 is 28 inches.
You leave my musket out of this conversation.
Muskets are fun.
Yeah, or you talk about the PSL, which is fucking notorious for heat stringing for a plethora of fucking reasons.
Yeah, also because it was made by Romanians.
I don't think any of them are as bad as a G36, where they're like, "Fuck it, we could just give this support with polymer."
Boy. That's because the G36 is a stinky trash gun that shouldn't exist.
You mean cartel gun?
Yeah, I did mean cartel gun.
That too.
I did, in fact, mean cartel gun.
Have you guys ever worried? So the shop got moved to Texas. Has that been a concern at all that, some of these motherfuckers might hop the border eventually? Or, nah, fuck it.
Our guns? The ones that we saw?
Yeah.
At the moment, the volume is low enough. It's really not a concern. And if
and we're selling online,
just don't sell the ATF and you're probably fine.
And we sell online, so
they're going everywhere.
They're going everywhere. They're going all over the country. It's not. We don't have any storefront or anything, so no one's buying stuff locally.
Which means don't show up to the shop, you fucking pricks. All right,
don't do it. Zach will shoot you.
You'll get shot.
You will literally get shot.
You're gonna ask his
now I'm gonna go to the shop.
Before you
seems
can
like
say
the
your
kind of
name, you're
guy-
going to get a whole mag of M67 like right into your dick. I swear to God.
Yeah, Zach seems like the kind of guy where he's got one gun to shoot him initially, and then he's got one set off to the side that he keeps polished just to execute the person.
hammer
Just-
pair the pelvis.
Oh, they make those. They make pelvis targets, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's training people to shoot
Incredible.
people in the dick.
Well, it's because that was because of the body armor originally, but everyone just kept making the joke, haha, shoot him in the dick. It's the dick target.
It's like the
I
fucking
made
scene
that-
from RoboCop where he shoots the guy's fucking dick off.
They made that meme where it's like the only body armor you need is the fucking dick flap and one of the bulletproof face shields. Protect the important shit. Everything else, fuck it, dude. Modern medicine's good enough. You ain't gonna die.
Yeah, man, what's a sucking chest wound, really? You know?
Yeah, between
Put
friends.
some
Like
duct tape on it.
Bro, I got tampons for that shit.
Do they sell ass plates?
Oh. Yeah, I do
They
enough
sell the dick
Romanian deadlifts where I kind of want to protect my ass now.
I was going to say there's one person in particular in here that could.
So you guys have, I mean, what is the most, so the shop, from what I've heard, tends to have long running arguments.
Oh boy.
oh boy.
What's the, yeah, oh, yeah. We're going to get into this.
So
What's
do
like the long,
do
like
you
what's the
want
longest?
We need to stop sending WAP screenshots of our chat.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking, no, keep it up because I laughed my ass off.
You gotta clarify here. Like, do you want like an engineering argument, or do you want like a
Yes.
pure stupidity fucking argument?
There's a bi-weekly
So
peace
the
argument,
women-
so we can go over that.
The women one, it could be one of my favorite. Tapestry hose.
That's probably the longest running one.
Are
Oh,
we
God.
going to
Have
cover
you
that
guys-
today?
It's
Have you
literally
guys-
3
oh,
years
yeah.
running.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
we're
You
jumping in
can't
this
come
one.
to a solution.
Have
yeah,
you guys
fuck it, why
added-
not?
Have you guys added the under the booby tattoo frauds to that?
I don't
that-
think I
I
have.
don't think so.
Oh,
That's
I don't
just-
know if we've updated that yet.
Yeah. All
Sure.
right. Well, we can explain it. It started right after Brass Valley, so this was late in 2019, maybe fucking September of 2019. It started with an observation that typically the girls that have fucking tapestries in their rooms are typically fucking insane.
Psychotic.
and- yeah, like not in a good way. Like, you know, there's fun insane, and there's just fucking right off the wall insane.
There's fun insane where you're like, ha ha ha, the sex is great, and then there's like, holy shit, you're literally related to Jody Arias.
Yeah. And then, you know, that got broken up, and we all agreed that Tapestry is fucking crazy, right?
Tapestry having hose.
Yeah. And then it like what really like started the argument is what leads up to that. And the two that were very divisive and controversial were chicks who have nip piercings and chicks who
Which
have
is
belly button
hot.
piercings. And
Yes,
which
which
one
is
is
also
crazier? And it seems to be a regional thing, maybe, where, you know, a lot of girls are in like in the Jersey Shore will go down like, you know, prom weekend or whatever and get their belly button pierced or whatever. I am of the idea that belly button piercings are playful and they're not fucking crazy, and it's you know, it's cool, it's fine. And all of these guys fucking disagree, and I can't wrap my mind around it.
I think it's because you
they're
just
all
like to
fucking-
look at dangly shit when you're fucking a fat chick.
All right.
Okay, I said I wouldn't bully.
Engineering
needs to be
student, he's like trying
entertained.
to, engineering student, he's trying to figure out how much stress it can take before it pops
Dude,
out.
The peak of this argument was a couple of weeks ago, and this is what we sent the WAP.
Oh, no.
Which was
I've actually helped with this.
I was in class that day, and we were doing fucking stress strain graphs, and I noticed that a bell curve isn't perfect in showing the crazy here, where like, you know, I put nip piercings all the way up to the top at like top crazy, and then once you go
Which is
over
not
the bell
true, by the
curve,
way.
like that's just the irritatable, like you can't return from that. That's
No,
just crazy.
I think
That's not even fun. And
region has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and the new model for this graph is literally just a fucking stress strain curve, where like the pressure max, the stress max on the top is like nip piercings, and everything past that, like that's the failure point, like where the tapestry is, like just all the way over to the right, and it was perfect. Honestly, I think that's the prime model of the nip piercing, belly button piercing tapestry having graph.
Yeah, it's just the stress strain curve for carbon steel.
Just the stress strain curve.
It's fried as shit.
Oh,
Yo, Eric, can you find that?
I'm already looking.
It was one of the greatest things ever, where it's like, hey, what do you think about this? And I was like, as a nipple piercing enthusiast, I was like, oh yeah, this is right up my fucking alley. And
it was just fucking crazy. It was out of fucking nowhere too. Yeah, there you go, Josh. Yeah, I got the other one too.
That's a
I'm gonna save
very
this.
scientific graph.
Yeah. And here's the other one.
Like I said, dude, we're professionals, all right? We go hard in the
Yeah,
fight.
no, dude, it really is. That's the other one that sparked it.
Bell curve is
When this
you can't argue with a good bell curve.
Yeah, but it just wasn't enough. So because you have that,
we need more refinement, more detail, and the failure point. The
failure point just really sums it up. But like,
are you telling me that there's a third graph that's coming, or?
Well, we're gonna change it.
Personally,
we've been discussing this for 2 years.
We need a secondary point in this where the run factor, where it stops becoming acceptable to do a one night stand.
Well, no,
right?
that's like after you pass the top of this thing. So, right, like you're looking at that fucking stress strain curve. Like the modulus of elasticity is just kind of like going up what's an acceptable piercing, and then like you hit belly button piercing, and after that, like the crazy starts like coming in, right? And it gets,
so where would
a bit unpredictable.
Where would you put under the booby tattoos?
I'd probably say right to the left of nip piercings, because I think that like once you hit that like that peak, it's just all over.
We're gonna have to post these when this episode drops.
I mean,
yeah, you're gonna have to find something.
Call that shit Crenshaw, because that's just a fucking red flag.
Based.
Yeah, I think so. That's the longest running argument in general. What about AK arguments? Like you're in the shop and you'll just stop what you're doing to yell at the other person because they're very fucking wrong.
Ryan is here, and it's only Eric. 7.62 AKs are better than 5.45.
Fuck you! I know that you're gonna fucking gang up on me on this.
I'm not. I'm just stating facts.
Does stupid well out of a short barrel. It's got a tapered case, and it's fucking ultra reliable and proven. All right. So if you're talking about making gamer AKs, making them in 7.62 and making them like shouties and suppressed is a good option, because you can get fucking subs in 7.62 that smack ass. All right. That's all I gotta say. That's it. Closing argument.
My thing is the reliable is the accuracy of an AK is good for a man-sized target out to 600. So I'd kind of want a round that could go 600 and still kill some shit.
Oh, and you're thinking that's the fucking 22 cal and not the 7.62 that's carrying a lot more ass at that range.
Yeah.
You smell bad.
That's
Just like, dude, I'll be honest. I just like shooting 5.5 or 5.45 the best.
You fucking bruise your shoulder when you shoot 7.62 and you cry afterwards.
I should not started drinking.
Oh my god, that's a bad idea.
Real fast, could you give a definition for gamer AK? Because a couple of but if you would like to just give in plain simple English.
Who came up with that? Josh, was
that was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
It was kind of an idea that evolved out of the whole group, I think.
I think it was the first person to like actually say it, but yeah, that's something we'd actually like kind of been working towards saying for a while, and everyone uses it. But gamer AKs are AKs that are, this gun. Yeah, min-max to be like as good as they possibly can be, because really these rifles were originally developed as being the best rifle for a conscript army, and they've been pushed now into a role with stuff like Zenitco, sure shot rails, bursts, crazy optics, suppressors, stuff that the AK was never really intended to have, because that stuff wasn't around, and that military wouldn't have been using anything like that even if it was around. And so it's just stuff like that. When you put it all together on an AK, it makes it a gamer AK.
And
I think that where it came from, honestly, was just like from like Escape from Tarkov, and like those people who will like, you know, they'll like do best in slot of fucking everything, and they'll just like, you know, they'll do like all fucking. What the fuck is it? I haven't played that fucking game in a while.
They're just gaming.
Yeah, no, they're just gaming. You know, it's like the fucking people in COD who like do like max mobility or some shit like that. Like you're just basically picking attachments and sights and grips and flashlights and everything that just have the best kind of like stats and attributes that will like benefit to what you're going for.
So a gamer AK is an AK that's pushed to its absolute limits by upgrading the parts.
It's usually sure shot rail, dope stock like the Zenitco, or like that ACR, by the way, the ACR stock that someone sent in our group the other day. That one was crazy.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, you mean you sent that picture like 7 times, Josh.
Oh,
Josh,
no,
someone
else sent that a couple of days ago, and then I screenshot it and then spammed it multiple times in chat.
Just straight forward at the fucking mouth.
So for people, if you hear random laughter, it's because the Discord chat's off the shit right now.
If you don't hear us talking, it means we're shit posting.
Yeah, this podcast isn't for you. It's not for your enjoyment. It's for our enjoyment.
Yeah, this is for us. You guys are just allowed to be here.
So pretty much like a visual representation of a gamer AK is what like admin results has right now, right?
Yeah. that's like a trash blaster gamer AK, because he doesn't have the Gucciest of parts, but he's made a very gamer. He's made a very gamer AK.
Mr. Defender gamer AK. Oh, that's fucking hot. Yeah,
that's
shit.
That's peak gamer right there.
Yeah.
He has
that rail.
That's sure shot.
Money. That's the Sure Shot Mark III Slim. It's not even
that
out
thing.
Yet, but
So here's a question.
That's a monolithic rail on an AK.
Yes,
sort of. And then the dust cover. The dust cover is actually cut in half. And so right behind where the ejection port comes down and the rest of the dust cover takes over, it's actually split in half right there. So you can pull that back part off and disassemble the gun.
Which retains 0 on your dot as well.
And it'll retain 0 on your dot. So you put your dot on the diving board part of it, and then put your magnifier onto the dust cover. So your magnifier and dust cover chunk comes off together, and you can disassemble the gun. He also has a Surefire muzzle device, the really Gucci 24 mil adapter one that I never see those. So that is peak gamer gun.
So here's a question: is an AK-12 a gamer AK?
No, AK-12 gay.
Mine's gonna be.
The Zlobin was peak gamer. The AK-107 was, and the SR1, that's peak gamer AK.
What's the fancy one? What's the fancy one that has like the active recoil thing?
Yeah, that's the SR1. Has adoption.
Yeah.
Is the Galil Ace a gamer AK?
SR1.
Galil isn't a
fucking way more consumer grade.
The Galil isn't an AK based on who made it.
Well, by that case, neither is the Valmet.
Are the Romanian, Bulgarian, anything else AKs also not AKs because the Russians didn't make them?
Yeah. I'm very an AK is made by Russians.
Hot take.
Refuses
very
to
bad
elaborate.
takes.
Just leaves.
You just said that to someone who has 2 identical Rami G dong guns.
Yeah,
Hey, that's not the case. That's not the case,
so
Josh.
we can talk about this. So which dong is superior? The one that curves forward or the one that curves backward?
Well, the one that curves backwards is
doesn't-
fucking. You literally can't fucking reload.
You only use those because you have to, because you're running an underfolder.
Yeah.
He likes
And
the
they make
erect
reloads
ones.
really hard. Yeah, you gotta have. I mean, every dong is gonna have a curve, so you gotta choose a curve that you like. You know.
Yeah.
Or you can just not run a dong.
Certified dong expert.
If I asked really politely, could you guys make me an underfolder that would fit an erect dong?
That's
from the
that's a lot of fab work.
Honestly, I don't know if you could too. I
just
think
shark
you
fin it.
shark fin it.
Yeah, you'd have to shark fin it.
I'm hearing I'm not worth enough. Which is,
basically.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a lot of work, bro.
That's
You know what it sounds like? Excuses.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. they're excuses.
Excuse me, mister. I'm graduating from engineering school soon. How about you figure this shit out? CAD cam this shit.
Yeah, Eric, you do it.
You're literally gonna end up with a fucking dong that's been moved like 5 inches back, and it's like literally at the back of the fucking handguard because that's the only way that you can fit that thing with the fucking underfolder. Or the alternative is you can't fold the fucking stock. Those are your choices.
I think old underfolder AKs are the most superior bank robbery gun ever made.
Yes. Yes.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's 7.6239 fucks close up, right? It's an underfolder, so you can like slip it underneath a coat jacket, and it's scary as shit because AKs are terrorist guns.
It does very well.
So you pull
out of a short barrel.
So you pull that out, and the fucking Karen behind the counter is going to shit her pants because she thinks Al Qaeda's in the building.
There you go.
I think it works.
I was just going to say.
Congratulations to Ping on killing a deer yesterday.
Oh, congrats, dude.
Round of applause for Ping, please.
Very proud. Very proud.
Thanks, guys.
Those weren't my hands clapping.
Oh no!
Oh,
cheeks.
No, that wasn't an actionable threat. I know that the money isn't bank robbery; it's in financial fraud, so I wouldn't do that.
Actually, it's in government.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also,
we can talk about this when we're done recording.
There's a reason why your Discord chat spicy. There's a reason why when you're using it in Payday 2, it's scarier or whatever. I'm a gamer.
Have you guys? Do you guys know what was used in the West Hollywood shootout? The AKs, what those were?
Yeah, well, I don't know the AK specifically. I think that it was like time period wise, it was probably like a Knurling or something like that, right?
Yeah, I
wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, and then they were just running like fucking drums or some shit.
90% sure they never were Knurlingos.
Narinka with the titty.
Hot as shit. Block is hot, son. Yeah, but I think that was really. I think that also added to the lore of the AK.
Yep, they were Knurling Type 56s.
Because from a police standpoint, it's like from a police standpoint, you see an AK the next day, and all you're thinking about is that time that those dudes in fucking Hollywood absolutely went off on LAPD. Those things, you know. Not like Fed posting, but it adds to the shit reputation of the AK already, which I think is unfair. I think design-wise, it's a really well-done rifle. I think they were limited by the technology they had at the time. It's press-fitting a lot of stuff and riveting everything. But I think overall, it's a great fucking design.
That's actually why I like Boeing more than Airbus is because after
October 10th,
I think Boeing had a lot more intimidation factor.
Oh God!
God damn.
That's getting
fucking God!
No way is that one keeping in there.
Can we just bleep the date he said? That way people still know what the joke was.
Random October.
Yeah.
Random Wednesday in October, you know.
All right, everybody shut up and just say like October 10th.
October 10th.
October 10th.
Thank you. I'll put that in place, and it'll be very funny.
I love you, Ethan.
Another round of applause for our wonderful producer, Ethan.
You're a good man.
Those were not my hands.
Was it against a 40-rounder PMAG?
Oh. You don't need to talk about if that photo's me or not. Please. We have guests. Anyway, what? So, do you guys like Zenit stuff? Because I think it's fucking hot as shit.
I think it can be cool. I don't think that Zenit fucking a gun automatically makes it gamer. I think that it makes it, they're definitely pretty cool, and they fucking all the weight's gonna help with like fucking recoil and shit like that.
I don't think it's cool. I think it makes a heavy rifle heavier.
Yeah, basically. I mean, AKs aren't necessarily heavy rifles.
I don't think any rifle is heavy.
That's why you go to the gym.
Chad.
That's because you've never shot a bow.
I'll tell you that right now. I had a fucking M1A EBR, and I'll tell you that was a heavy fucking gun.
You mean a mountain gun?
Trash.
That is a
That's
mountain
a heavy
gun.
bitch.
We're not. So I really didn't want to bring it up because I know you guys get raped with it daily. Do you have like a basic weight idea of what you kind of want the AK-50 to be?
We have
Like,
no
'cause
fucking idea. Whatever it comes out to be.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. Fuck it, she is what
It's
she
gonna be
is.
pretty
Boys,
light.
we're still gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think that there's quite a bit of possibility here that the thing's going to end up being kind of like the PKM is in the fucking machine gun world, where it's just like it's very light for what it is, but we're really far fucking away from that. So who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I mean, has that been a blessing and a curse? That idea.
To be honest, I don't think anybody's really considered it other than, hey, this might be pretty cool. Like, when it comes to like the 50 and stuff like that, what I think a lot of people don't understand is that we're literally just testing to see if the fucking thing works. And if it doesn't work, then there's no point in designing aesthetics or how to mount an optic or stocks or anything like that, because we're going to change everything so much that everything there isn't going to matter. So
you guys are still in proof of concept phase.
Yeah, we got a lot of.
The last one was, I think
we got a lot of shit for that prototype because one, it looked like garbage, and you couldn't shoot it from the shoulder.
That was people fucking
was,
posting thinking that like when it gets released, it's just it's gonna have to be like tripod fired or some shit like that. Like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You are.
First off, firing it from the Brin tripod was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was from a Bren tripod because that's what Zach had on hand, and then beyond that, like we were really testing out cam groove geometry. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
really.
Unlocking and stuff. Just because that's the part that's not really proven. Like all these other 50 caliber rifles are all like fucking short recoil. Like I think some of them even fucking long recoil. Like the Lynx is long recoil for some fucking reason. So just the idea of having a fucking long stroke, a long stroke gas operated 50 cal is just kind of like so out there that that's really what we're just trying to prove. Firstly, and then after we get that dialed in, we're going to mess around with, stocks and optic mounting and actually being able to pick it up and shoot it. But yeah, All
right, so that was the AK-50 portion of the episode for everyone that stuck around to hear it. If that's all you wanted, you can fuck off now.
An hour in, 54 minutes in.
I mean,
not too bad. An hour and 54?
We're an hour and 5.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Give people the wrong timestamp and make them listen to like 20 minutes of us talking about like nipple piercings.
We do a little misinformation spreading.
Hey, Ethan, can you give us a let me record this real quick, and you can add this to the beginning. The timestamp for the AK-50 discussion, if that's the only reason you're here, is it the 22-minute mark? If you want to hear just that, go ahead and skip forward.
Oh Dude, I didn't even think that was because Brandon was still here when that
That's
was around 22
malicious
minutes.
They're gonna have to listen to 40 minutes of nipples and tapestries.
Yeah, you
before
literally
they
just
can
gotta
fucking
scan through it to find it.
I can't hear it. Yeah,
You get
listen to
10
a
minutes
podcast,
of-
you
you get-
stupid faggot.
You get 10 minutes of the moneymaker and then 3 retards talking about nipple piercings, and then the AK-50.
It's literally like any other work environment. The boss leaves and it just goes. Yeah,
It do be like
It's
that.
fantastic.
Well,
Really
what's
do.
cool, like that group chat that we're in is like our kind of like that's the only group chat that we have. So half of the time, like we have like really productive engineering discussions where we're talking
Yeah.
about like really into it stuff, and the other half we're just like laughing at something stupid, like a
Nipple-
freaking like a
nipple
shrew
Belker.
on a skateboard with fucking Avril Lavigne in the background. Like,
So, quick question, just from me: what are you guys using for your CAD and your CAM? For your designs?
SolidWorks for
You guys are
CAD
running Solid.
and for CAM. Like we have been getting most stuff sent out because we don't have CNC stuff, and having somebody make it for us is just usually way cheaper than us trying to make it ourselves. Although now we actually are
Yeah,
set
I
up
know.
with a mill and a lathe, so
Which
Zach
is
we're
dope.
getting there.
has
Yeah.
a lot more
NX
agony in his future because before we
NX
really just had a
Master
lathe.
Race.
And yeah, not a lot of square parts you can make on a lathe. Too much agony.
SolidWorks definitely seems to be standard for the gun industry. You go different industries, different CADs are used. Like I personally have, since 2011, I've been working on Inventor, so I have 10 years of fucking Inventor experience. But like for most CAD programs, they translate fairly well between each one. You just kind of have to know where the buttons are.
Rambe, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I've got a question about AK durability as it pertains to the Midwestern region of the United States. How much ranch can you stuff into an AK before it fails to fire?
I think
A question
Brandon did
on
a
this?
will at AK with fucking
I was
ranch.
gonna say I've definitely seen
Are we
that.
talking?
Wait, did
Are
he?
we talking?
Did he
Are we
ranch-
talking the powder? Or are we
I think
talking?
he might have ranched Stormy
liquid.
Holy shit! Wait,
way back in the day.
It's time to ranch it up.
yeah. Remember when we ranched it up with fucking Ryan and we made
God.
Ryan
Oh
drink?
my
ranch?
god, do you have that video?
I do have that
people,
video.
man.
I need to see if I can find it.
I got a good
Oh my
question.
god.
Would it run longer with ranch or blue cheese in it?
Definitely
Ooh,
ranch.
blue
Blue cheese has that chunkiness in it. That's
Yeah,
gonna fuck shit up
you
more than
mean
ranch.
you mean mold?
Blue
Fucking
cheese
the
would
kale to
taste
make his
better.
Blue
ranch.
cheese is
It's
delicious,
literally
by the way.
it's okay to only waste ranch. Wasting blue cheese is like actually it's haram. Like you can't do that.
Amen.
You will
I
get thrown off
reject.
the
I
building.
reject my Midwest ranch roots, and I go with blue cheese on this one.
AK
How dare
Oh,
you.
dude, you better. So, talking about comp
Blue cheese is superior to ranch.
Back to guns, Jesus Christ.
Would you guys carry a Tokarev? I would. Would you?
Well, Brandon carried a fucking Mac for years.
Yeah.
Tokarev though is just kind of chonky.
Yeah.
And they don't have safeties.
I would carry the Tokarev that
Slow
Kyber
chunk.
Custom or Kyber Pass Customs did, where it's a all or nothing little machine gun.
Oh, so you're thinking like you want like a 40-round stick mag on there, and it's all like hand engraved, and it's probably like butter soft steel, so it's gonna explode.
Yeah,
After the 40-round stick mag, you actually just need to build them
I
up.
want to take the guy with me.
Yeah.
So the
I mean,
Kyber
that's
Pass,
totally fair.
the
My
Kyber
thinking
Pass
is
guys have
carrying a
figured out
7.6
hammers.
25.
You do a New York reload and you fucking pull out
Dude.
another one.
Kyber, that's amazing. Kyber Pass guns are actually incredible. Like what they can pull off with fairly simple hand tools is amazing. Although I really wish that they would learn about heat treating and steels and
Martin Siddick steel.
fucking sights. Like
I've seen
there are pictures of AKs with rear sights where like everything is totally like cloned, except that there's no rear sight notch because they have no concept of sights.
I said Martin Siddick steel, and I hear WAP just moan quietly in the background.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. Taking me back to my fucking tool and die days.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna cry? Maybe shit? Maybe come?
Probably. Oh, fuck. It's Forensic Steel is a little bit of a bitch to work with.
Yeah,
I got another AK related question.
Yeah, throw it to me.
considering Century's reputation, could they make like a fucking just the best rifle in the world? And would people even bother trying it, or would they just be like, no, it's trash at Century, and they would just sit on the shelves?
Let's put it this way. I know that the MP5s they just imported are the same as the Zeniths, but I will spend $2,000 more for an SP5K than I will for one of those because it doesn't have Century on the receiver.
I think that the thing is that a lot of people kind of ignore. And this is me talking from, like, I think I have, 4 years of experience behind a fucking gun counter just talking to the general public about shit like this. The general public is fucking retarded. And you can show them all of the proof that you have and all of the proof that there is, and you can show them literally Century Arms guns blowing up and undeniable evidence that this company is just absolute dog shit. Like, literally just dog water. And they still won't care. So at the bottom line, they can release whatever the fuck they want. They'll still make money off of it just because it's cheap.
They don't care in Norfolk because half of them become river rats.
Yeah, no, they literally just become river. When I was at fucking SHOT, I walked up to this was kind of bad. Felt kind of bad for the guy. When I was at SHOT, I walked up to the tourist rep and I told him that my city loves his guns and half of them end up as fucking river rocks, and he really just didn't like he wanted to be there, man.
Which one of you at SHOT Show started taking up the SIG?
Oh, that was me. Yeah, we call it eggnog, just because it started as calling it espionage, and then espionage evolved into eggnog. But when we were there, we just like to see what we can do. So one of us took apart a Laugo Alien. That was pretty cool. Then immediately, it promptly got that taken away from them. And the rep was like, "Oh, okay, here, let me show you how to put that thing back together."
Yeah, we were talking about Khyber Pass real quick, and before I forget, I wanted to throw this in. I'm not going to go into too much about my work, but I'm in aero defense right now, and we've definitely had meetings and briefings talking about Khyber Pass in that region. They do have access to CNC machines, and they have a lot higher manufacturing capability right now than certain YouTube videos from certain channels will make you believe.
Surprised. They do. They have magazines and stuff that are coming out of there they're very nice quality.
The tribals are. I'm sorry, Wap, you go.
When they want to make something right, or the customer has a lot of cash or a lot of guys with guns behind them, they tend to do really good fucking work when they want to.
So
you can look at the Glock clones that come out of Khyber Pass and see that.
Yeah.
So Miles Vinning has talked about this a little bit as well. There are two parts to Khyber Pass. There's Dara Bazaar, Khyber Pass, where they're making shit with hand tools, and there's Peshawar, which is the big city right next to it. And Peshawar is where they have CNCs, and it's actually industry. And they're not they're Khyber Pass interchangeably, but it's two very different systems as far as
for people
manufacture goes.
Yeah, Michitoyu, who makes a lot of really good measuring equipment, fined a metric fuck ton of money because certain CMM machines and calipers and other measuring instruments were ending up in the hands of people that the U.S. government did not want them to have in the Afghanistan and Pakistan region.
Holy shit, the U.S. was trying to regulate who can have precision measuring tools. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. People don't realize that there's that shit ending up in the wrong hands will
be a bad time.
That feeling when micrometers become national interests.
Yeah. These mics are now fucking ITAR regulated. You better watch your shit, kid.
Yeah, I bet Zach isn't legally allowed to leave the States then, because that man is just a fucking icron.
Yeah, it's literally an ITAR violation for fucking shit.
So Zach that's one of the hardest things to pick up. But Zach can do that, where he's look at something, he's oh, it's 3-4 thou. Or
Legitimately.
So this gunsmith that we worked with a lot in making the B2, like the ugliest shit tube 50, he can definitely do that. And Zach is a fucking wizard and everything AK. Yeah. the shit that Zach has in his head, like, it's not, and like Zach and Chris have in their head, like, not allowed to leave the country. It's ITAR regulated.
They're more ITAR regulated than M16 GP and VGs that are in Afghanistan right
You were talking about.
Could you picture that? You're some fucking tribal. You're some tribal farmer. You're like, you still think that like the earth falls off once you leave Afghanistan. You pick up a pair of fucking panos, and you're like, holy shit, dude. Like, how many blind Afghanis do you think there are now because we ditched a bunch of pecs over there?
Hopefully,
I guarantee they've already burned out some. They've got them,
possibly on purpose.
Probably, honestly.
Look at this light.
You talked about the Khyber Pass manufacturing capabilities and stuff like that. I'm actually on AK Files right now looking because last night, I don't know. I know that the Brass Valley guys know, but there's quite a few magazines that come out of Khyber Pass that are like injection molded magazines, kind of like clones of the plug mags and like Glock mags and key mags and stuff like that look very, very close to like actual authentic ones.
And injection molding tooling could be the biggest bitch to machine. So if they could pull that off,
it's very interesting. I'm trying to find the pictures right now, but I saw one last night, and they were clones of Bakelite mags, and the latches themselves were brass instead of steel. But I mean, like, it's very impressive what they're capable of.
Yeah, people think it's just a bunch of tribal farmers with the mud hut with a file, and it's like
it partially is, but there's some really talented guys over there as well.
Yeah, like sure, there's still that, but there's also a little subsect of it that can do some pretty impressive shit. Speaking of shops and manufacturing, how hard has it been to get a decent shop? Because I know that talking with Zach, and there were some fucking issues. There's some parts coming from the shops on the AK-50, the most recent one.
Yeah, a lot of them can't hit numbers.
I'll talk to
or just don't care.
It just based on my own experiences, like prototyping my shit, along with all the AK-50 stuff. Like, I'm convinced that a good shop that actually delivers on time and also hits fucking numbers literally does not exist. Like literally, I had a guy make a fucking receiver for a gun that I scratch built, and he literally not only delivered, I think it was 8 weeks late.
Oh fuck me!
Yeah, but on top of that, like, he was over 2 times over what the tolerance was on like literally parts like locking lugs and like shit like that, like things that we specifically wanted to be like either broached or EDM'd or whatever. Like, he just drilled the corners on and like blatantly cut corners and delivered this shit like 8 weeks late. And it was to the point where like it was just easier literally to file it into fit because all of it was so undersized than to return it and literally have this. He probably would have just ghosted us and just bailed at that point. So
so they posted a picture of the Khyber. Yeah, I think that shops are dime a dozen, and if you can find one that delivers on time with good parts, chances are that shop isn't taking work right now.
On top of that, it's probably not going to do it consistently.
On top of that, it's probably like 3 times more than you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize people are bitching at you guys for how long it's taking on a side project, and I don't think they realize just how fucking expensive a good shop charges an hour. Like,
and that the fact that there are, if you look on machinist pages, there are tons of people saying like, oh, I'm making like $4 more an hour doing DoorDash, and I don't have to worry about like every single thing I do is going to fuck up a $5,000 part. And so a lot of machinists are really underpaid right now. The whole machining industry is under a lot of stress right now. So not a lot is going in and not a lot is coming out right now. There's kind of a stalemate there. And the key is workforce.
Do we just want to
getting as a machinist? I can speak into that. To get the money you deserve, you need to bitch and moan because no one is paying you worth of shit in the door, walking in the door. Like, I haven't had a job in the past 5 years where I accepted the number they were offering me at the get-go. And it's just the way it is. It's an underpaid field unless you fight for the money that is in it.
Especially for the risk that you incur as being a machinist, like not just like a CNC operator that just pushes buttons, but like as a programmer, you could be working on a one-of-one part. And if your program isn't perfect from the get-go, you're fucked. I mean, you're gonna fuck up a lot of shit. You're gonna fuck up a block that's had, hours and hours and hours of machine time and man time in it. That's fireable because that block's worth more than about half your year.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Ping posted it in the chat, the Kyber Glock clone.
Can we talk about how it... Go on.
It is... That could get sent to a shop in America.
Yeah, like an FFL literally wouldn't even notice the difference.
Look at the one I just posted with the clear frame.
Even the font looks really good.
Yeah, dude.
That fucking Kyber pass, that first one, had better front serrations than the stock Glock.
Yeah.
I think
the logo isn't in the right place.
They're making a better Glock than Glock is.
On top of that, 19 Gen 5, I don't think that typically Gen 5 is written on the Gen 5s in subscript.
Is it? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I saw them.
Hang on, let me grab mine.
Aren't
it
there?
Is. I'm looking at one right now. It is.
Aren't
it is? Oh, okay. So yeah, look at that. No, but I mean, it's a very convincing. Yeah, I'm looking at all the other ones right now too.
It's like a Rolex from fucking or something.
Oh Jesus Christ! That's like a perfect clone of the G19 FS with the front serrations. The logo's in the right place. The font's all correct.
Yeah, Gen 5 is a little bit smaller on that one, but yeah, no, it is very, very fucking close. And the tooling required to make an injection mold like that,
fuck, man.
Especially an injection mold that has like the steel inserts for all the rails and stuff like that. That's pretty serious. There's quite a bit of work that goes into that.
And that's not like a ghetto polymer 80 either that we're looking at.
That's a full injection molded, frame that they went all out on.
Yeah, no, that would definitely fool anyone at like a gun show. I say that not because gun show loophole or anything like that. It's just a lot of people started there.
Yeah, there are a lot of fucking idiots.
They'll take a Yugo Mauser and carve a friendship windmill to it and sell it as a Nazi gun.
Oh my god!
This was Hitler's canoe.
Is there an AK fad that you hate? You wish would go away?
Custom carved wood. It's so fucking annoying.
Can I?
People that make they're like custom carved. Like no hate, like on like people that are making it because like they're making a living, but people that like enjoy like these atrocious like custom wood stuff like on their AKs where it's like it has a thumb hole on their like lower handguard. Stop. There's no reason for this.
That's a dong.
It's so unnecessary.
The fucking dong
cheese graters.
That is fucking abhorrent.
Well, you usually find them on the same gun.
With a cheese grater?
No, it's just fucking stupid. I don't understand. Josh is going to go into it.
The typical Reddit AK is a wasser with a surplus dong that's been chopped into a shark fin, and then they run a cheese grater. The issue is that honestly, the chopped dong, it works really well. It works a lot like the BCM short grip that's cut on like ARs. Super common thing. It feels really good, but it's been picked up by like Reddit AK users, and the cheese grater handguard is terrible. It does nothing to protect you. It burns the shit out of your hand constantly.
It literally makes it fucking worse.
Just run a wood handguard. But like that's like the copy paste Wasser, Chop Dong, cheese grater that you see on Reddit fucking every
I literally
single day.
just pulled this off of Reddit right now.
How about
literally every single time, dude? No shit. Fucking Palmetto.
Oh my god, look at that folding mechanism.
Palmetto is fucking selling them as, oh my god, that's awful.
How about
Palmetto is selling them
an
as fucking
burn
full
barrel.
rifles? Like
Oh
literally.
my god, look how bad that cheese grater is too.
How about,
it looks like a child whittled it.
how about the M4 stocks or AR stocks on AKs?
Oh,
I think that buffer tubes on anything other than an AR
Dude,
is kind of stupid. But
I posted like that exact thing a couple days ago. It's like AR buffer tubes on an ARs, and then versus AR buffer tubes on anything else or shit.
Yo, I think I commented on that.
I did too.
I might have.
I'll go fact check that.
I at least sent it to our group.
yeah,
I remember
honestly, that might be where I fucking.
I sent it to our group. I know that.
I'm still looking for this freaking picture of those mags from the Khyber Pass.
I do like that you took a picture of my cat with pit vipers.
Yeah, I just told you to send it to me.
All right, so it took me like fucking 5 minutes to find that, but just look at that gun and tell me that deserves to exist.
You look at that and tell me there's a god.
You look at that and tell me there's a fucking god, dude.
That's
so awesome. I want one.
That's a late term abortion right there.
They forgot to abort it.
They straight crunched that baby up and pulled it right out.
Dude, that's not even not even existing AK furniture. That's
oh my god, you put a waffle on it.
Yeah, dude, that's literally a 2x4 that somebody fucking cut a triangle out of, and literally, it looks like somebody took a chisel to the front of it and fucking chiseled like triangles because they're not even consistent.
And he had the audacity to put a waffle in this gun like it deserved it.
Oh shit, there is a waffle mag.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ.
My buddy has a 10-round mag and in his Sam 7. And those are the only 2 AK mags.
If you guys had to, we could give a little bit of decent advice in this episode. If you had to buy a factory AK right now, what would you get?
Sam 7 or Sam 5?
One of the Sams, we were actually talking about this the other day. I think the Sams are probably the best consistent quality out of a factory AK. The Kalashnikov USA ones are very promising. Except they just haven't put out that many yet for us to know consistently if they're good or bad.
If I had to bet on a horse in the US AK market,
it would definitely
be
USA. Yeah,
it'd be Kusa.
Yeah.
What about Zastava?
They're basically just dremeling out.
No, they literally are dremeling out.
They just dremel out.
Those rifles are like imported because we have a whole lot of fucking stupid import laws.
Okay, because I own one. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, they're
just
quote unquote. Oh, thank you. That's actually whoever just posted that M1. Yeah. If you look at, we'll go back to the Zastava thing in a second. If you look at the Discord, you see that that counterfeit bake or whatever that M1 posted. Like it looks very, very close to a legit bake, but it just has brass inserts and stuff like that.
I mean, it's still better than APCO having plastic tabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone that's panicking about fucking, they're talking about shit in the Discord, if you go to the Instagram, the Clone and Correct podcast Instagram, the day that this podcast releases, we will post all these pictures. So you have kind of something to go off of.
Something to go off of, yeah. Those Zastava guns, though, that we were talking about, we have a whole lot of stupid import laws. So, like, those rifles need to be imported with like single stack magazines and a whole lot of shit.
Stupid,
and basically when they get here, Zastava USA just takes those rifles and they unfuck them literally.
But the same thing Century used to do.
Yeah, they're dremeling open the magazine well from single stack mags to double stack mags. They're, I think that I don't even know if they're running single stack bolts.
That was something.
I think you can get away with running a single stack. Ryan, you would probably know better than me. I think you can get away with running a single stack bolt, but it's just kind of like it's kind of cringe to do it.
That was something at the beginning of the episode I wanted to ask Brandon, but we'll just talk about it now. Is that import laws really hurt the AK in the U.S. market?
I think that for Russian shit, yeah, definitely. When the AK ammo ban went through, I think it was like 20 or 30% of the ammo that we imported last year.
Chinese as well.
Chinese as well. But the ammo that was imported in 2020, like 20% of it, 30% of it was from Russia, and it was that cheap steel case. So I think that definitely hurt it. But
how long do you think it's going to take?
Was
it a ban on Russian manufactured, or
was it a ban on Russian manufactured?
Companies?
Yes. So even if it's another fucking country like getting Tula ammo, they still can't import it here. It's Russian ammo. It's the same as Chinese ammo.
So how long do you think it's going to? Do these companies make enough money off of the U.S. market, or they'll move the tooling across the border?
I think that it's hopeful.
Supposedly, PSA already bought the tooling out of a factory and is going to gear up to do the ammo here.
You know what? That's scary as fuck.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like a really great way to blow up your fancy new shiny AK.
Am I going to need to pay $200 for constructive price?
Yeah, I think that eventually we'll see something. Who knows?
Speaking of PSA, so PSA makes an AK with a FNH manufactured called Hammer Forged Barrel. Now, while it's a PSA AK, that barrel sounds really fucking good. Do you know if you can get those?
Those FN barrels, I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's a PSA AK though, so for all the people that see that as an attractive option, it's still literally garbage. There's literally nothing, and that's another thing. Like, it's not like you can buy a PSA AK and then rebuild it and make it a nice gun. It's those parts that they're using, those trunnions, those bolts, those bolt carriers, everything is objectively garbage, and there's nothing that you can do to get around it. It's basically just fucked from the get-go.
Did you guys
That's
see
coming from an engineer, so that means he knows his shit.
Did you guys see the response video from Herrera?
Yeah, I actually did that response video that they did of them testing it at the range.
So basically, that video was a meme. I'm just going to put that out there. That video is a fucking meme. They said
100%. That video is a meme. Like, here's the stuff that we found, but we're not going to show you any of the testing data or anything.
Yeah, and basically what they did admit was they're like, okay, we've noticed these have abnormal wear, and they're like, okay, great, do something about it. And they're like, so what we're going to do is put a chamfer on the trunnion. No!
The other thing that they said,
we can't figure out how to do it. I don't think people realize how
lazy
lock and lug, because fuck it. Like,
I think people understand how lazy of a fix that is. Yeah. It's literally like 4 lines of coding.
You're literally also like, they basically outrightly say that it's uncharacteristic wear of proper AKs, but it's characteristic wear of theirs. So what their argument is, eventually with theirs, it wears in, and it's just result of like a geometry that's missing a chamfer or something like that. Where in reality, that chamfer doesn't exist on Russian trunnions or Romanian trunnions or whatever, Chinese trunnion, whatever, any proper AK trunnion. That chamfer does not exist because it does not need to be there. Therefore, there is a problem somewhere else with, their camming geometry or the relationship between, where their bolt is sitting or whatever. There's some other problem that everything's not, sitting right and working as it should. And putting a chamfer on where you have that bolt contact, right, and just reducing that area that you have bolt contact isn't a fix. It's a very cheap fix that you can do without, sacrificing all the tooling that they just dropped $500,000, $1 million on.
Yeah,
my S7 tool steel.
Yeah, no, it's fucking stupid.
Nerd out real quick right here, if you don't mind. You see all these companies talking about they're using this steel or that steel or this steel. doesn't fucking matter unless it's machined properly and heat treated properly. And the chances of a shit company doing either of those correctly are absolutely fucking zero.
Yeah, well, the
It's
reason
like-
why they're zero is just because they're expensive and they take time. And for most of these shit companies are shit because they don't want to take the time, they don't want to take the money to make something that is, good in every sense. Just because their average consumer, like we were talking about before, is fucking retarded and isn't going to notice the difference between something that is solid and something that is just good enough for them.
And the just good enough thing is annoying as fuck because I don't think these people realize how close a gun is to a bomb.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah, it literally is a pressure vessel.
It is a pipe bomb.
Which is why you cannot put an 18650 in it. It'll make it explode instantly.
We're going to go over that real quick, too. I think we're going to wrap this up in a second. The other day, another kind of stupid engineering conversation. I was talking to Josh about running a flashlight and how on my rifle, on like specifically my AR-15, I use a B5 Satmon stock, so I'm able to put the batteries in the stock. So I have a battery for my EOTech and a battery for my flashlight if either of those should go out. And I like that, being able to have those batteries on the gun. So I said that when I do my AK-12, I want to be able to store a battery somewhere on the gun. And I also want to use a mod light, and mod lights use fairly powerful batteries. So there was an argument that spewed off between good old R-Dog and Josh. And Josh, you want to explain that, buddy?
I'm a bit of a battery fud, but still, I'm not going to put a battery in a non-waterproof case because those things can do weird things. I'd like to not mess with energy-dense objects not being sealed up and just rattling around in a tube. And
you couldn't put it. You couldn't put it in a Theorem case.
No, I don't think a Theorem case would work. That's what I said. You should just use a Theorem case. But
like a battery cell or whatever.
It's the Theorem cell vault.
He said he was going to print one.
Ryan,
he said he was going to make one for it.
Yeah, I was toying around with the idea of designing one that would replace the cleaning kit that goes into an AK-12 stock and putting in O-rings or whatever to make a watertight compartment to put this battery in. And Josh's concern, which is fairly valid, is if this thing actually isn't watertight and water actually does get in there, if you mix water with some of these batteries, it might not be good.
I might need to go check.
And that's really close to your fucking face.
Yeah. And Ryan's concern, lack of concern, was more that's fucking stupid, and you never have to worry about that ever. And I agree with both of them to a degree. I just thought it was fucking funny because that argument went on for no shit like 3 hours.
I could put an 18650 just in my mouth and just suck on it for a minute, and it would be fine. And Josh is like, bro, if it gets any fucking condensation on it, it's going to explode and you're going to turn your face into a hamburger, bro.
If you take out the battery and the humidity is over 90%,
bro, you're going to die, bro.
Do you have a webcam that we can test that on?
No.
Yeah, bro, you drove a car today. Might as well stick an 18650 in your prison pocket. Just fuck it.
Yeah, you're putting an explosive next to your face every time you shoot a rifle. So why are you worried about a fucking battery?
One doesn't justify the other.
One doesn't justify the other. I'm just saying, if you're managing risk, that's not the place to manage risk.
Hold on. Are people defending Olight in here? What did I just walk into?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We're actually talking about mod light.
No.
Ryan's defending
I'm defending the concept of a battery not fucking exploding because you look at it wrong. Because that doesn't happen.
Go stick an O-light in your mouth.
My O-light has over 5,000 rounds.
Go stick an O-light up your ass, dude. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
I didn't get banned or blocked, but I got my comment deleted because it got 50 something likes on Tactical Rifleman post when he was doing that O-light sale. And I said, "That's cool. Do I have to pay $200 for each one of these destructive devices?"
During the mod light pistol drop, I got my comments deleted because I told them the issues I was having with my mod light pistol light.
was kind of like me and EOTech when they did that blue line optic. And I commented, I asked them how many dogs are going to be downrange of this thing, and they just started pinning like everyone else's comment, so mine wasn't on top. That got 346 likes, by the way.
What they didn't actually point out with the blue line stuff is they changed the reticle. They changed it so that the circle would perfectly encompass a German Shepherd at 100 yards. I think they changed it to like a 58 MOA circle, or
wasn't something about 40% of them did.
Yeah, around 40% of them. I can't think of a joke fast enough.
There's a 42% chance that joke's gonna hit.
Fuck me.
Okay, I would just like to say that as far as the whole PSA thing, this milled receiver Yugo that I have here, that edge is still pretty much sharp on this receiver, and it's been well shot.
Fuck. Alrighty.
On the subject of batteries and placement, who was it that said they just tape them bitches to the side of their rifle? Like they straight up tape them on there, or like
Tony fucking Cowden, son.
I knew it was somebody big.
Tony's qualified to have an opinion on it. No.
But time to fuck out. Tony posted literally 3 months ago that he fucking went to Afghanistan with a fucking Taurus.
Did he?
Say it so.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Say it.
I'll share this with you. I'll share this with you
No,
guys.
bro, please, bro.
Please, bro.
Fuck. So yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap this episode up. Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Thanks for having us on.
It was absolutely awesome. I hope we covered some shit that people were interested in. Thank you guys for listening to the first episode of the Cloning Correct Classroom. This one was on AKs. This is a series that we've been thinking long and hard about. We got some shit in the pipeline, some subject matter experts on certain things that we're going to bring on. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in next time. This has been the Cloning Correct podcast with the Cloning Correct Classroom. Goodbye. Peace.
Brandon's just grabbing milk, guys.